It's game day once again for the Arizona Coyotes as they play their first game of the month of November. They are still on the road, their long road trip. They face the Philadelphia Flyers today. Will the Arizona Coyotes finally get their first win of the season? Carl and I will talk about that all in today's episode of Locked On Coyotes, so be sure to stay locked in.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to the show, everyone. Once again, I'm Robyn and Carl right beside me on this wonderful Tuesday, November 2nd. Arizona Coyotes face the Philadelphia Flyers today at 4 p.m. Gotta love those East Coast games when daylight savings, then the rest of the country hasn't hit yet, and we're still kind of sitting there.
I agree. I've been really enjoying these starts. Thankfully, I work from home and I get off at 3:30, so it's really easy for me to just go downstairs and get the hockey started right away. I'm gonna miss it when we're doing like 7:30, 8:30 starts with the West Coast after daylight savings hits. But it's the last one. It's penultimate trip of the road trip, or penultimate game of the road trip. Let's see if the Coyotes can get one today.
Final game of the East Coast side of the road trip, and they
Yep.
That's the toughest part right there.
Yeah.
They've been on the road for quite a bit, and they've been facing teams who are like top 10 teams in the league.
Yeah.
This is the first one in a long time where I think Philadelphia's not even top 15 based off our power rankings.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, as I was writing the preview today on 5 for Howling, like the Flyers are a better team than the Coyotes, but they are not as good as the opponents the Coyotes had been facing. Your Carolina Hurricanes, Tampa Bay Lightning, Washington Capitals. Those are all some of the top teams in the league, like you said. So this game just feels more winnable based off of that alone. Hopefully the Coyotes have gotten used to playing against top teams and they're able to come out with a quick start. I do know that oftentimes teams will play down to their competition, so who really knows?
I mean, especially if the way that the Coyotes did play against those teams, right? I mean, they were all pretty close games. Against Florida was 5-3. Against Tampa, that was a 5-1. That was not a good game.
No. That one was rough, but
Washington was 1-0, right? 2-0.
Washington, I think it was 2-0. Let me confirm.
It was 2-0, and then a 2-1 loss to Carolina. The majority of them pretty close games, and looking pretty decent. Especially, I mean, the Lightning one obviously is one off because Ivan Prosvetov kind of was left out to dry.
Sure.
And then we saw the Kirill Vejmelka show up the next couple of games after that.
Yeah. I think we've run into some issues with the Coyotes. Lack of offense is definitely a big one. Lack of power play, which goes along with the offense, and then just the thing that everyone's been talking about, penalties and the penalty kill. While improved, is still an area of concern. The last 2 games the Coyotes played, game-winning goal was on the power play. I think that was the case for Washington. I know for sure it was for Carolina. Yep, game-winning goal, both games on the power play. So they got to be more disciplined. They got to find a way to actually generate offense too, so they don't get sunk by a single power play goal.
Exactly, and not only that, just make sure the goaltender has as much help as he can get. Because we've seen several games, like the Tampa game, which Prosvetov had zero help whatsoever. So obviously even the Florida game, both Hutton before he got injured in the first period, and then Milka didn't get enough help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've definitely I like the way the team played against Carolina. I think that if they can find a way to do that for a full 60 minutes, they can do it. They can get something going. And I do think that the team has been helping out their goaltenders. We're seeing a lot more shots being cleared from the crease. Coyotes do a pretty good job of limiting chances. There's not a lot of grade A chances that their opponents get. But it just like so many things, it just seems like they need to put it all together.
yeah, it's hard to really tell again because the inconsistency. Which version of the Coyotes we're going to see? Are we going to see the one that we saw against Tampa, or are we going to see the one that we saw against Carolina tonight?
Yeah. Or are we going to see a first period that's like Tampa and then a second period like Carolina, back to a first period or back to a third period that's like
Or
Washington? Who
and
knows?
or like a third period that's like Florida.
Yeah. It's the Coyotes, like they get caught sometimes, and I think that this is partially mental, which is why we're starting to see it less as the teams become more familiar with themselves and each other. Where like if things start to go wrong, they just snowball and they don't have that reset. I'd like to see them get better at that. Like you give up an early goal, so what? Like just kind of do what you can to get it back.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it all goes down, how the Coyotes can bounce back, and again, this like you said, it's compared to this last week, this entire last week. This is the most winnable game that they'll see in quite some time. In that amount of time span. Again,
Yeah,
I'm not saying the Flyers are a bad team. They're still a pretty good team,
yeah.
but
They're fifth in their division rather than the Carolina Hurricanes, who have still not lost a game. So
exactly.
that just shows you like quality of competition is just a little bit different in terms of it. And it honestly, like, it should be to the Coyotes' advantage. Like, they've played tougher matchups than this. They got those hard games out of the way, so they can hopefully do something with a game like this. And then, when they head to California, game like the Ducks, when they head back to Arizona against the Kraken, those aren't the top teams. Like, they've already lost to the top teams in the league. Now it's up to them to get some points.
I'm still waiting to see anything about what obviously line rushes are look like and what goalie looks like, because the goaltending situation in Philadelphia makes a pretty big difference. Because I'm not, again, like uh, as I said before, if Carter Hart's the starter, then it's gonna be a more difficult game. If it's Martin Jones, I think they can work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we're talking about different quality of competition of opponents. That's just a microcosm right there. Like different goaltending. And the Coyotes could sure use a nice game against the backup. Like that could help hopefully pad their offensive numbers a little bit.
Let's hope that as the this day continues, because at the time of recording this, that we still don't know who is in net for either team, really. Um, you just can maybe based off of the previous practice days, but that's not really enough.
No, no. It's always a frustrating thing. Like it's why I stopped doing predicted goalies in my preview articles because it can change so much. You really don't know until the day of. Makes it much harder to write about and for us to talk about because like this game could go two very different ways depending on who's in net.
It very well could. We still got more to get to, though, on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. We will talk more about the preview. Get ready for Arizona Coyotes versus Philadelphia Flyers set for today at 4 p.m. Arizona time. That, of course, game taking place in Philadelphia. So be sure to stay tuned. But Carl has a couple words for us.
That I do. Let me ask you a question. Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device, compatible device required. Content varies by package.
All right, so back here on Locked On Coyotes, Carl actually went to Daily Faceoff to make a difference here to check and see because they do their predicted starting goalies and they tend to be pretty close to being right.
Sure.
They have Kirove Milka for Arizona, and it says unconfirmed, so they don't really know.
Yeah.
And it says Carter Hart likely as of 11 a.m. Eastern. So what is that? Just a few hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, not too surprising. If I was the Philadelphia Flyers, I would definitely look at this as like a trap game where like you think it's going to be easy, you're facing the lowly Coyotes, you don't prepare properly, and you get burned. So I can see them starting their starter. And it also makes sense to just have your go-to guy face an easy opponent every once in a while. Give him some confidence.
Give them
Goalies,
pat some stats.
yeah, pad some stats. Make that Vesna application look good at the end of the year.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, again, things could change. I mean, like obviously it says likely, but there could be a last minute change. It's like, yeah, we'll make it. I mean, I don't see that happening, but
Nah.
um,
And if you are the Coyotes, no matter what, like you want to go in assuming that you're going to face the toughest competition, because even if it is Martin Jones, there's no rule saying that he can't just stand on his head and have a stellar performance.
yeah.
Like this is hockey. Any game can be something. Any goalie can get locked in. Like there's no real way to know for sure like what you're going to be facing. Like sometimes goalies decide to be a brick wall. Sometimes they let in beach balls.
Yep. And again, like you said, this could still be like that pseudo trap game because again, a lot of people, it may be because also the Coyotes try to sometimes play up to their competition and
Sure.
or the opponents play down, and yet it feels like it's just kind of like this chess match whenever the Coyotes are playing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also just like in general, do you want to be the first team that loses to the team that hasn't won yet? No, like no one wants that
No.
on their record. No one wants to be like the topic of Twitter tomorrow and be like, "Ha, the Flyers lost to the Coyotes. They're the first team to lose." So yeah, I think teams are going to go all out to win games. That's just what the sport's about. And there's plenty of reasons why you can want to win a game, but at the end of the day, you're just looking to win. And you're going to do whatever it takes to give you the best shot at winning.
Let's talk about some real quick some former players on either side
Sure.
because we got this is we have a double side here. We have Keith Yandel over in Philadelphia and Shayne Gotisbehere here in Arizona.
Yeah. Two offensively gifted defensemen basically deciding they wanted to switch teams. A little bit more complicated than that. Yandel signed as a free agent. Gossespierre was traded. Um, we have seen a lot of former Coyotes really light up the team when they faced them. I hope we get something similar for Gottesbeer. I hope he wants to prove the Flyers wrong that they gave up on him too quickly, which I think is what I believe that they probably gave up on him a little bit too quickly. He's a little bit overpaid, but I think he's been fine as a player, and hopefully it's a big night for him.
especially
And
if especially with the the price that the Coyotes paid to get him, which is essentially nothing.
yeah, essentially nothing. Like that's gotta burn. If you're a competitive guy, which you are if you're in the NHL, because you don't become one of the best hockey players in the world by not being competitive. Like that's gotta be like something that you want to make him pay. Um, Gotisbehere would be great if we got that. I think he's been playing well. I think he's fitting pretty good into the system. I saw him clear the puck out of the blue paint right in front of the net. Probably saved a goal the other game. Yeah, it'd be great. And then on the flip side, I don't want Keith Yandle to have a big game against the Coyotes. Um, he's fine just keeping that Iron Man streak going, but he's gotten quite a few assists already. Like so, I'd prefer a quiet Yandle and a loud Gotisbehere.
I mean, we can also put it this way: is Yandel has had the problem with turning the puck over on the power play,
Yeah.
which could end up benefiting the Coyotes if the power play can capitalize.
Yeah, I mean, and I looked it up. The Flyers have a decent power play. I think it's 11th in the league, 20th ranked penalty kill. So the Coyotes are bad at both of those. They're bottom of the league, but this is at least a little bit easier of a competition. They may actually match up fairly decently in the special teams this time. Uh, Hopefully, they just don't take as many penalties and kill all their
Yeah.
momentum.
I mean, here's one thing I'll say too. I mean, it looks like just based off how the Coyotes have been slowly improving over time, it just looks like they're buying in the Tournay system, and that like something is gonna click eventually, and they're finally gonna win a game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they are buying into the system. I think they're becoming more comfortable with themselves as a team. This is a very new team, like we were always talking about, like to start the season. Like these guys didn't all play together last year. And you kind of see like the Kraus Keller Fishers, like those players who have been with the team for longer, they seem more comfortable with each other. And we're just kind of waiting to see if that can happen with the entire team. And I do think that they're going to gel and they're going to potentially steal a game tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think they can. I think the Coyotes have it in them, and that I personally think that a win is possible.
Mm. I would say that yes, it is very possible for the Coyotes to win a game. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen because the Coyotes, there's quite a few games that they should have been able to win that for whatever reason they weren't able to. So hopefully they don't disappoint us. The fans have been waiting for a win for a long time, but we're not even on like the longest loss streak to open a season for the Coyotes yet. So
Or the longest loss streak. Oh yeah, let alone the longest loss streak for the entire NHL.
yeah,
Which I think what was that like? I think it's like what 17, 20 something. It's gonna be somewhere up there.
somewhere up there. I believe Jose Romero tweeted it out last night, and it was just like really put it in perspective, like how the recent Coyotes are still historically bad. Like we're not even like at that point yet in the rebuild, so there's potentially a lot more pain coming, but maybe they can surprise us.
18 games, by the way.
Eight, that's a lot.
It's
That's
the 2003, 2004 Penguins and the 2020, 2021 Sabres.
mm, like when you're being put up with the Sabres, that's just bad. Like you don't want to be in that company.
Nope, you don't. You absolutely don't. But hey, we still got more to get to on this episode. It's prediction time coming up. We take a look at our lines, our betting lines, courtesy of betonline.ag. Speaking of betonline, we're back and better than ever. A new web interface to start of the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile device. Sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay, now it's time to take a look at our lines, courtesy of our friends at betonline.ag. Once again, Carl, Philadelphia 1.5 favorites, total points 5.5 points. If you want to bet on the money line, Coyotes plus 200, Philadelphia Flyers minus 224.
Yep. So another game, another very basic readout there. Not at all surprising. Uh, yeah, that's a tough one too, especially since the Coyotes have definitely been playing a lot tighter recently. Like if you're giving up 2 goals to the Capitals, 2 goals to the Florida Panthers, like I don't know. Do you bet the over? Do you go the under? It's definitely a tough one. It'll be interesting to see kind of how people bet this one, like real time.
The cool thing about this line is this game is they actually have a bunch of other things to bet on rather than just the puck line, money line, and total. They also have like total points for each team. You have prop
Mm,
bets. You have prop bets like shots on goal based off a certain player. So you can say if Clayton Keller over 2 shots.
interesting. Those are really fun. I like prop bets. In theory, they definitely seem to be like a more interesting thing to bet on, and also like if you're looking at shots, probably something more predictable. Um, I would I haven't done any research on like how many shots Clayton Keller's actually been putting up this season compared to previous ones. He definitely seems more fearless in going to the net. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to do.
Clayton Keller also a prop bet for you over 0.5 points. So essentially, if he gets a point, that's at plus 122,
Mm.
plus 134 for Jacob Chikrin.
Which is funny because I feel like Chikrin just hasn't gotten the offense yet. Um, hmm. I don't know. What are you thinking about this game in general and bets for it? You tend to be the more betty person of the two of us.
It's gonna be a tough one to bet. I'm trying to see what's the best way to do it on here. So I'm gonna say, like in terms of how to I'm gonna go ahead and make my prediction how this thing goes. Coyotes cover,
Okay,
take the points, and this is also gonna go ooh, uh under.
under. See, I can see that. Coyotes' recent history has been a lot of unders. Flyers just got shut out by the uh, Calgary Flames, so it's not like they have the most consistent offense either. Uh, I think pretty smart money going under, just based off of what we've seen. But you know, I could also see that being very different depending on who's in net. We from what you said in the previous segment, I think probably better to go the under. If we get word that by the time this airs or by the time you place your bet that Jones is going to be in net, maybe switch that up.
Or on the flip side, if they decide to put Presvetov in.
Yeah, yeah. On the flip side,
I don't think they will.
I feel like you would want to save Prospetov against the Ducks. I
Yeah,
do think you should put him in again soon, just so he gets some playing experience. But when you got like an opponent, like a weaker opponent, maybe save him for that.
yeah, I totally agree on that. That's a better way to put it. It's weird though because the Ducks are still like in the top 4 right now in the Pacific Division, just because the Pacific Division is super weird.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe something that comes up a lot. Vegas still hasn't gotten a power play goal.
I
Like
know, right?
anytime I'm checking the Coyotes power play to see if it's gone over 50%, I look and I'm like, Vegas still doesn't have one. I have to keep saying that the Coyotes have the second worst power play in the league. I imagine that will change sooner or later, especially when Vegas gets a little bit healthier.
Absolutely. Because yeah, they got some of their players out for quite some time. Um, but okay, do you want to try to make prediction to go full on predictions, score predictions?
Let's do it. I'm gonna go. 3-1 Coyotes.
3-1 Coyotes. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit closer. 3-2 Coyotes.
3-2. Who do you think gets the game winner for the Coyotes?
Game winner, just for funsies. Shayne Gotisbehere.
I do. I like that. I feel like that would just destroy the Flyers fan base mentally. I approve of that. I'm gonna go Lawson Krause though.
I love it. That's a safe pick. Lawson Krause has been having a pretty decent season.
Yeah,
I think two goals, 3 goals,
2 goals.
two
Yep.
goals. So he's been doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, especially compared to last season when he was just incredibly snake bitten.
Well, yeah, that's just puck luck hitting the freaking crossbar every time. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's gotta be rough because once you keep doing it, like it just gets stuck in your head. I imagine that was as much of a mental block as a luck block.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But so we both have the Coyotes winning today. Carl says 3-1. I say 3-2. And once again, if you want to know my bet online picks is pick on the Coyotes, take the points. Don't take the money line just because it's a safe. I mean, obviously you have higher win chances or higher winnings with the money line, but the puck line is a much safer bet for you. And take the under. As we said, both of us, like I have it at 5 points, Carl has it at 4. So those are our bet online picks of the game. But yeah, I mean, I think that's.
Yeah. I mean, not really too much to do. Enjoy this last 4 p.m. start time if you can, because you're not going to get another one for quite a long time.
The next East Coast game would probably be a 5 p.m. just because after Sunday is when everybody else in the country falls back and we don't.
I am so looking forward to not having to adjust my life for daylight savings time. It's
Ever,
glorious.
ever since moving to Arizona 6 years ago, when I found out about not having to change the clocks, I have been ecstatic. I'm like, wait, you mean we don't? Oh, wow, I love it.
My last real day job, we didn't like we're in Arizona, so we're not changing our clocks, but my schedule would still change around daylight savings time. So like because their mind is you work in a call center, like this is the call flow. So we would be waking up an hour early or an hour late, and that just made it worse because it's fine when your entire state is changing for daylight savings. It's horrible when just your company is. It makes your life so much harder, and I
I
don't have
bet.
to deal with that. And it's nice. The only problem is it's gonna make watching West Coast games later, and I like to sleep because I'm getting old.
Hey, be lucky we're not on the East Coast then.
Be lucky. Yes, I am very happy that I am not living in New York, having to stay up and watch Kraken games.
At like 11 p.m.
Yeah, that just sounds brutal.
Oh my god, I appreciate those who live on the West Coast. I'm an East Coast who are able to stay up late and watch those games. Like I've like there have been games that have ran late here in here in Arizona at least, and I'm tired.
Yeah, yeah. Or like international hockey watchers. Like if you live in the UK and you watch live hockey, kudos to you. I cannot imagine how that is how you're able to fit that in your day. It just seems very difficult.
I know we have some listeners across the pond over in the UK and Ireland. I applaud you guys for watching for getting to the games based on whatever time. I'm not sure whether like that's 8 hours ahead. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh man, it'll be 7 hours ahead soon. But
yeah. It's rough. It is rough. But I mean, it's hockey. I wish we got more enjoyable outcomes, but it's fun to watch hockey.
absolutely. Anyways, once again, that's going to do it for today's episode. Once again, both of us have the Arizona Coyotes winning today. So let's just keep our fingers crossed, knock on some wood, because we're really hoping for it. We're really hoping the Coyotes finally get their first win of the game. Anyways, thanks for everyone for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, a like, a comment, subscribe if you get to already. We're available everywhere you should get your podcasts, including YouTube. Also, be sure to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes. Interact with us on all the social media on Twitter. We are at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano. Once again, that's Robyn with a Y_Leano. And Carl Pavlik is at Carl Pavlik FFH. Interact with us, ask us a question. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.